We have two political parties in Nigeria, the rich and the poor, the powerful and the powerless. Any other thing is just deceit. Now, let me tell you about this young lady. And I want to ask Nigerians sincerely, if this lady was not a copper, does she have the right to say what she said?
They will still have found something to say that.
What is even the usefulness of the youth service now in this country, if we are not just wasting money?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How do you feel as a Nigerian with either a higher national diploma or a degree or master's degree, and you are being told that because you have not participated in the youth service scheme, you cannot hold public positions? Whereas the Constitution of Nigeria says you only need school cert to be president.
To be president, you
need school cert to be
senator,
to be everything.
To be governor, to be everything.
You don't need to serve. So are you punishing those who are elected to serve and go forward? If I can hold the highest office in the land
without serving,
the other man want to do NYC. What was even the purpose of NYC, national integration?
Yes.
Today, do we have children of the rich serving in different parts of the country?
No, they go to choice places, choice location.
In fact, most of them who are governors, deputy governors, have their children serving in their offices.
Under them.
So then you say someone cannot speak out in a democracy because one outdated rule says because you are a copper. Is that rule superior to the Constitution
of the country
that gives her the freedom to speak? Freedom of expression. You see, this is why we are having problem moving forward as a nation. Because institutions build a nation, build countries. But because institutions cannot speak by themselves, you have people who man them, speak and protect those institutions. But when you have cowards, people who are just basically interested in what they put into their mouth, then they tell you, they go back to this kind of rules. Let me tell you, that girl has spoken the minds of Nigerians.
Millions of
Even
Nigerians.
if she doesn't get to finish NYC, it means nothing. After all, we've been told by the court that it's not even compulsory. Kemi Adeosun only resigned. The other guy, Minister of Communication, Situ, refused to resign. He served. In the present government, you have somebody who is serving as a copper, as minister. So what are we even talking?
Double serving.
So the truth is that for most of us, it's about table and kitchen affairs. And those are the things she spoke to. The difficulty that most Nigerians are facing. For years, she has been, covered in the home.
With her parents have been taking care. She said it.
Now she's out on her own. And she's feeling the pinch. And let me tell you, only those who are not feeling what is happening in this country are those who have access to free funds. And their fronts. Otherwise, everybody, of course, stands behind her. What she has said is the truth. And let them stop her from serving NYC. NYC means nothing as it stands in this country today. The people who are doing NYC today are the children of the poor. And those who face that it's an opportunity.
Who really even do the NYC the way it should be done.
It's an opportunity for them to earn a little bit of money while they are busy looking for a job.
The young core members in our office, when we engaged them, we were promised 70,000 naira.
Okay.
Up till now, it has not come.
It's on the way. It's on the way.
Which on the way? They say, minimum wage. So they've been waiting. But Mr. Curtis, the reactions, apart from the fact that there's a rule, which you have said is just unnecessary, because again, the rule cannot supersede or override the Constitution.
The rule that we are talking about.
Yes.
Fuad, when we look at those rules, because there are two rules. There's one that is outdated, that is not even in use. Even the rules that NYC itself will be posted, go and check their website. And F-Young, but really capture it the way I even love it. And that is the reason why. Number one, Pastor Curtis have said it. There is no rule in this country. You remember that the same way we talk about the rule of the Senate. There is no rule that can go against the Constitution of Nigeria and stand. Constitution of Nigeria gave the right to every Nigerian.
Superior to every other rule.
That you have the right for freedom of expression. That one is one. Then two, one of the things that we need to even know is that, look, those people that are even defending government, defending NYC, some of them are not knowledgeable about the so-called law. In that particular law they are talking about, core members are not the employees of government. They are not civil servants. Because that rule, what the rule is talking about, because NYC is an agency of the government, is talking between the employer and employee relationship. NYC
core members.
Their core members are not the employees of the government. They are not the civil servant.
No, don't even go too far.
So what's the essence?
They are even being legalistic. The fact is that even the people who are talking themselves don't obey the rules and the constitution of this country.
Several rules that they break.
Before I left my meeting,
yes,
there was a news break that 2 planes that departed America with people to be deported had to make a U-turn because a judge said the Trump administration must pause the deportation of those guys.
I think he's using a particular rule.
Yes,
and only for a war situation.
Yes, and since the planes had left, they had to contact them to turn back
because of the ruling of the court.
Now we have a country where those who call themselves lawmakers, we go outside a judgment of the court that has not been challenged. Judgment of the Court of Appeal that says National Assembly members do not have power to suspend other members. The leadership of National Assembly,
they will still go ahead and do it.
And they've done it. And then they club the court because Natasha is in court again now, and the thing will rise again and get to the same level, and the same principle will be affirmed. We're talking about the Bengude's case again, which says, Supreme Court says, once you defect, you lose your seat. But that is not a law. What they do is that these laws are always brought up when it is the ordinary citizen of the country speaking. What is democracy? The things that I said before, the things we did to Jonathan in this country, President Jonathan, the names we called him, you can't do it now in this country. And we're pretending that we have a Democrat as president. When you talk, they say, oh, it's because you don't like him. I don't have to like him. Does he like me? He doesn't even know me.
The long list of things they said about Jonathan.
Let me tell you something. Julius Malema cannot be a senator in Nigeria.
They will sack him from the beginning of that penalty.
This is a guy who stands in the parliament and calls South African president a criminal.
Series of names.
We are not even talking of the president of the Senate. So if we want democracy, let us practice democracy. But if you want a symmetry,
democracy. We should continue. I remember when I was speaking with Senator Judu, and I said that, look, I see pretenders today. They are so quick to put Babalawo's cap on their head. They wear his glasses. They call themselves Maoist. But where are the principles of progressive democracy? You know, they are everywhere, even in the Senate.
Did you see the majority leader?
Yes, I was going to go there.
I mean, yesterday, I think was it yesterday or Friday?
I was going to go there.
To the deputy chief whip, Onyekachi, who had said there was a panel that's going to be set up. The president of the Senate will appear, and he will appear as a witness because he saw everything that happened.
So what?
Now, I think he doesn't understand the meaning of sexual harassment. I can say to someone, there is no other evidence you need against Akpabio than the comment he made in the Senate, where he talked about the Senate is not a nightclub.
Which is a form of harassment.
People don't. You think harassment is about I want to sleep with you?
Or your physical. What of the psychological part of it?
Some married not touching her. The things is now, they still don't understand that institutions are different from individuals. As far as they are concerned, even Akpabio himself feels that it's the Senate and Nigeria that is being slighted.
Anything that touches him touches the Senate.
Natasha did not accuse Nigeria of sexual harassment.
Or the Senate.
She also did not accuse the Senate as a body. She accused one individual, Akpabio, who happens to be the president of the Senate.
Just like the US saying, when Monica Lewinsky accused Bill Clinton, so the whole of the US.
So the White House is being defied by Monica Lewinsky. No.
What kind of thinking is that?
No. Really? And this NYC official.
Yes.
This is the same one. In fact, that was the reason why I took the SEDI horn when I was serving, and I make sure they change him. In fact, Time Magazine, I don't know the number of features that I've done on him. We did not even go anywhere from day one, that we serve thoroughly. You want to be giving us problem. This is the same NYC officers that will make sure they get money from core members who want to move from one state to another. They did not look at rule before doing that. Oh, this is the same NYSC member, not all of them though, that will make sure that they will collect money to fix some certain core members in a juicy particular place of time. And they see an innocent Nigeria complaining about something that is, in fact, they are terrible people.
I will give you my certificate. You can give it back to them. I don't need it.
Even as I think one thing that NYC should be concerned is before, our people that don't want, they were hungry to go to like Maiduguri, Sokoto.
No insecurity. You won't go there now.
Then,
I won't even allow anybody to.
The NYC, because many of them they are military.
They are the most undisciplined body in this country.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. We were waiting for the COP commandant. That's the overall national COP commandant.
Yeah.
In our camp at Asaba, Delta State.
Delta State.
According to the announcement made, he was supposed to arrive by 1 p.m. So all the COP members were asked to go on the parade. This man did not show up until 4:30 p.m. And you know what? When he came, he just went into his speech. A COP member raised his hand and said, "Sir, this came. It's about national values and discipline. I expected that when you came late, having kept us in the sun for hours, the first thing you should have done is to apologize." You know what? They pulled him aside and they say he will not graduate with us. Because as far as they are concerned, as far as they were concerned, he embarrassed the DG. Yes.
No, that's what they do now.
That's the kind of organization that the NYSC
That is what they do.
They talk about discipline, they talk about national integration, but they don't live any of the values at all.
All right, Mr. Curtis, we'll continue to monitor developments. I can see that a lot of Nigerians are interested in.
But then they apologize to the lady.
No.
The NYC apologize.
She wants things to work.
Let them work on the things she
has said. That's all. Not the apology.
That's the apology that she needs, and they cannot do it.
It's not the apology.
Do you know how much a core member that has just finished the service wants to get? Just say a room. How much is a room?
She talked about housing, food, cost of transportation, cost of food.
What? As a copper, the allowance I was collecting, I could go home sometimes and give my younger one something.
Yes. At that time,
and I'm not talking. We had water.
Which water? I don't know what they call it.
Bridges. Point to me. Third mainland bridge.
Give them to court. You know, I'm going to be very, very fast. Kind of evaluation. He's not tired of talking. Former President Muhammadu Buhari. Things that look corruption was the highest. You know, he also talked. It was a terrible period, really. Bumper me just of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. He also talked about, the fact that, look, 21 billion was crazy to have been used to renovate the house of the vice president. So he mentioned quite a lot of things, and the fact that, look, we are in an era where corruption has become the order of the day. There are people who have said that, look, we should look at the message and leave the messenger. There are people who have said that, look, in the message, you also have to look at intentions behind the message by looking at the messenger. But for you, you've listened to, you've gotten this information. It was almost a major issue in the course of the week. What's your take, by Mr. Curtis Adigba, on the former president again writing a book and saying that, look, politicians are just out there for themselves. Corruption is on the rise again.
I have a kind of mixed relationship with the former president.
Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ M쏘ɪᴟsᴅ.
I've done him a public letter before, and I pointed out some of his hypocrisies and all that. But you cannot write the history of this country without talking about this man. The 괰ᴜᴜᴡ is a man you like him or you hate him, but you can't ignore him. Because he's constantly in your face. You hear his voices in your ear all the time, and you just have to pay attention. I've always been an advocate of a message being credible or being strong when it is delivered by a worthy messenger. But there are exceptions, which is that a madman has some lucid moments.
Yes.
And in those lucid moments, he can say one or two things that make sense. And I think the former president is making sense here. Now, if we had safeguards against corruption before in the country, like we pretended at one point, remember that when he was the president, the EFCC was very, very strong.
Very strong.
I think that has to be the most credible period of the EFCC, where you can accuse him of the fact that he used the EFCC
against political opponents,
against political opponents. But like I have always said, the major thing or the major charge against those who were against Obasanjo and the way he used the EFCC then was how he was selective. They said it was a selective prosecution of corruption. And the question I have always asked, if a man or a woman is accused of corruption, is it a defense to say, I'm not the only corrupt person? I thought that the defense should be, I am not corrupt.
Defend yourself.
Yes, I am not corrupt, and I can prove that in the court. And of course, if you understand how the court system works in Nigeria, so many of them have gone to the court, and then they have come out clean, either on technical grounds or the EFCC not being able to make its own case like we have been told, which also borders on compromise, because you can actually take strong evidence to court and produce something that is so weak that the judge can't even rely on it. That's one. You can also produce a very strong evidence in court, and then the judge interprets it
as
in
a
different way,
and then
because he's the judge that attaches weight
to your evidence.
It's not you. And because if the judge is already with the answer and then looking for the problem, then he goes the way he wants to go. Now this has been the problem, and I think that Obasanjo in his position has got access to intelligence, to some information that you and I do not have. Yes, there are people who believe that the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, still remains a clean man because of his frugal lifestyle. But under his regime, there were clearly outstanding cases of criminality and corruption, and many of them were not dealt with. Okay, so many. So to that extent, he is right that under the Buhari government, we had high-level corruption. I mean, what else do you need to agree with Obasanjo? There was a case of millions of dollars siphoned based on the fake signature of the president. The former secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said he never authored the memo. And that signature was not his. And then the approval was not from President Muhammadu Buhari. There were so many cases like that, where people just strode into the central bank and removed millions of dollars. There were cases of those who had weekly allocation of FS.
Foreign exchange,
Yes, that they were taken to the black market.
And then, of course, whatever we accuse 𝐴ᴏᴜᴜ of today.
Yes, he wasn't alone.
He wasn't alone. It was a lot of those things happened under Buhari regime.
So, to that extent, you say to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former president, that yes, it's right. And then talking about this current regime.
Topping it. Surpassing that record.
Because already the things that we are hearing, you saw the weak response from the Minister of Works today, that the president did not recommend any contractor. But what he didn't address is whether the contract was awarded through a due process.
No, he said there are 3 ways of bidding for contracts, and that they chose the other one, which was, it doesn't have to be competitive. It has to be, closed bidding. That was what they adopted.
That's why the closed one is the most transparent one.
In their own thinking.
He's your friend. That's why
I'm just saying.
So he's not using the rule.
No, in their own thinking. In their own thinking.
Here is the problem. The problem is that every time we have new set of people in government, they tend to be governed by their own rules and not the rules of the country. And they will justify it. Now, one justification they have is that, the past administration did it. And I've always said, and it's so sad that I think what we are hearing now and what we are seeing now, Jonathan, is definitely a child's play. I'm telling you.
And dies practically.
I'm telling you.
On the platform of, this was a very corrupt regime.
Yeah, and that was the basis for which his government was thrown out.
Because at that point, people even question the certificate of Muhammadu Buhari. Yes. But the Jonathan government has been demonized to the point where they said that even if you come with NEPA bill,
we will vote for him.
The change had to work.
And you know why? Because if the nail is your problem, the hammer has got to be your best friend. So Nigerians believe that if corruption to do corruption for it, I still be monumentally
about it.
Yeah. Nigeria talked about the principle that why Nigerians were still being that is not to say his own curve him and handed over now.
So it's a corruption conversation.
Who is now running faster than all of them.
Oh my goodness.
So sad.
Nuruddin, you know, Baba Obasanjo will not keep quiet. He will never keep quiet. And he loves writing books. See, I think if there's a president, a former president who has written, I'll just say the long as a record of
Obasanjo. You compare his own level of corruption to Yar'Adua Jonathan regime. In terms of anything, compare those ministers that work with him, compare it to the one of Jonathan, and compare the debts we had during his own tenure and the one of Jonathan Yar'Adua regime. Now look at the one of Jonathan Yar'Adua regime compared to the one of President Muhammadu Buhari. You will discover that what he has been saying was very, very true. Look at our economy policy. Look at our debt. Minister to the other. Are we going to talk about you? Three. Are you going to talk?
Our friend, Malam, the humanitarian woman.
And the humanitarian ministry. Look
at that woman.
Now, by the time you know
1 billion.
No, wait. You know, he didn't talk about escalate.
The 21 billion house has not been occupied by the vice president.
Yes, till now.
But they renovated it. You 21 billion.
You know the rate has to be. Maybe
why is man not using it by Sarkozy?
You are closer to him.
I'm not close anywhere. Because, Joseph, how do you renovate a house with 21 billion?
Museum.
For somewhere Yemi Osinbajo was staying.
And I cash, and then the boys
throw around.
The boys also have to be
settled. The way we are going.
Yes.
The way we are going forward. I'm telling you, this government, we are just by 2 years. May now will be 2 years, right?
Yeah.
This government is ethically challenged. I'm telling you. Look, we're not even talking about the mode of the award of Lagos Calabar
Coastal Highway. Yeah.
You know, Chief Obasanjo also said it was not necessary. It was useless.
White elephant here.
It was an elephant project. But you know that one of the sons of the president is on the board of the company.
Yeah, the Shagore Group.
Yes,
and they didn't deny it.
Nobody has come out to challenge that.
Yes.
No, and nobody has come to deny it.
No.
Which speaks to the issue of vested interest, conflict of interest.
Yeah, Oga Fuad, I think for me, I do say this thing that we are just a country that are pretending to be sleeping, and I don't know, it's going to be very, very tough. There was a day I have something to do in Abuja. I have to go to the EFCC office in Jabi. Okay. And that day it shocked every one of us that was at the reception. Someone came there announcing that
opposite that their park.
No, inside the FCC office. Okay, I went to inside the Jabi headquarters. The woman came. He was crying that he lost her laptop. It's not outside, not outside the fence. So inside that her laptop lost inside EFCC office headquarters. So I was now asking the guy, say, is this one be like police station that NEPA office? That when you go to the NEPA office, you see that they are using gen. By implication, they are telling you you don't need to complain that you don't have light. I said, how manage that EFCC of a laptop, not phone? Phone is a bit small. And that woman said, this is almost 2 weeks I've been coming on to see if I can get.
What is strange about that? Have exhibits not disappeared from them?
Okay, so what I'm just saying is when we say we are fighting corruption in Nigeria, it's as if we that are saying we are fighting it, sometimes we are calling an enabler. Because you need to look at petition that go to EFCC when especially a matter that you have interest on, the way the operator the personnel will be treating you. We did one case.
Yeah, the petitioner.
Did we do one? We submitted that thing. I think we have about 16 door check. We attached to the petition and everything. Go forward. You know that they were asking in Lagos here. They were asking, we need more evidence. I was Oga, which evidence? He doesn't say we are checked. This guy did not even open the petition they attached to see that there are checks inside that place, and he allowed the guy to go. I think that very time it was this man Issa was the head of EFCC. The man have to shouting and say, "Oh, tomorrow now they will not be saying EFCC is not." He now want to order that they should go and bring the person back to the custody. What am I saying? What former President Obasanjo is saying, everybody know. We know whether it's lying or it's not lying. And we all know that it's not lying. You understand? But the question is, what is going to happen? Tomorrow, we say, maybe we can say that about 12 billion loss. We don't know how to, the circumstances surrounding 12 billion. As we are discussing it, later you'll hear 36 billion loss again. So for me, if EFCC is serious, they should be telling us how they are preventing corruption. But you know that the way they operate is, any government that is in power is what actually dictate to them how they should do some of their operation.
This same country, one guy was detained. I think it's from this company, this cryptocurrency company. You remember? The guy that was arrested and
That said he went to mosque.
He was detained by the NSA in his office where there are no detention facilities.
He go pray.
And then somehow he went to pray, and from there he disappeared. His second, who was held and granted bail, accused officials of Nigerian government of demanding for bribe from him and from the organization.
They've denied it, but I don't think anybody's going to investigate anything.
Under the carpet.
Do you know the number of EFCC officials that have been expelled?
The fact is that the government is not even interested in fighting corruption. They are paying lip service to fighting corruption. If they want to fight corruption, they know where to fight corruption. But you know what they do with it? They collect the evidence and keep and watch you play politics. Until
it's become useful.
When you play politics on the wrong side,
they bring it out. They say they have dossier for everybody.
Do you know how many years a court in Nigeria gave an order restraining other courts from asking former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili,
anything.
And they left it.
They left it. No, nobody.
But suddenly.
But you know what? Because Odili is on the wrong side of politics.
They say that they cannot ask questions.
Now, the Supreme Court said no.
You go back. Cannot commence.
Do you understand?
I'm with you,
Barrister. You see what is happening in Rivers State, where the Chief Justice before, they knew him, he's been Chief Justice, there was no problem. But all of a sudden, because he's not playing one game now,
they say, oh, he falsified maybe age or something. They should go and check it.
That's how we fight corruption. We don't fight corruption because we want to get the society straight forward, straight and right.
So it's about political interest.
Build ethics. I told you a story here about a former president whose chief of air staff had bought a property that even all his savings could not buy. And somebody petitioned him. I was involved in that transaction. When the matter went to the president, I was to be summoned by the DSS for investigation and all that. Of course, I only acted as a lawyer. I would just go there and say my part. But eventually the man told us that he was invited by the president then, who said to him, my relation is coming and I want you to fight with others and make sure that Kogi is delivered to me. If you do that, I'm not going to touch this case. That's how we fight corruption. Or when someone who has been with us and has participated in burying all the bodies with us, but as soon as he moves away from us, either because of political differences, then he becomes corrupt. We'll go after him with all that we have. I was telling a friend of mine, he said, El-Rufai is a nobody. El-Rufai, who is El-Rufai?
That's what they are now saying.
You know what I said to him? I was there. I saw the valleys. When you score goal now,
he checks and rechecks.
That El-Rufai was the VAR of the people that brought Tinubu to become the candidate of the party.
Video assistant referee.
Checking and making sure nothing goes wrong.
Today, those who are saying it's a nobody were not even close to anywhere there.
When that was happening.
So, you see, this is why I say, and you see now, the fight between them is not essentially about Nigeria. I hope you know that.
I'm with you, yes.
It's about him not getting the position that had been earmarked.
So it's about political interest.
And now it is time to fight back. And deceitful voters. There is a political elect who doesn't have opportunity again to continue to feed.
Then goes back to the people and say, I'm for you.
He goes to look for means to get on that pipe from one side. And he feels that the best way to do that is to tell the people, come on.
I'm for you.
So come. You understand? So when government wants to fight corruption and they let you and I understand that they're fighting corruption, they're only fighting those that they perceive to be obstacles to their continued.
So when you are loyal and you are useful,
everything is buried for you. Everything. Look at the banks. How we look at the way you remember the time that banks were asked to merge and all that.
Yeah, the recapitalization. Yeah.
So do you believe that most of the banks that are existing today, do you believe that they didn't have problem?
Of course they did, but somehow some of them scaled through.
But some of them are closer to the people in government.
And so they scaled them.
So that's it.
All right, we go to Rivers State because of time, because it's the biggest of the three issues we have on the roundtable this evening. We might not be able to really deal with the El-Rufai issue. Of course, it's a developing story, and maybe along the line of discussing the Rivers matter, we'll also just quickly find a way. The minister of the FCT, M소ɪᴟ, has talked about impeachment. There's tension, there's a standoff between the loyalist of the governor, Fubara, and the loyalist to the former governor, who is now the FCT minister, M소ɪᴟ. The Supreme Court judgment on the legitimacy of the 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly who purportedly defected to the APC has swept away the legal roadblock for the minister of the FCT, M소ɪᴟ, and his loyalists to slam the sledgehammer on the governor, Siminalayi Fubara. Of course, we have the entire judgment, and all of that. But there's something interesting before I bring you in to have an analysis on this issue. I have a soundbite, but because of time, I might not really just play any soundbite because M소ɪᴟ has been talking. He's been insulting everybody. He was in Rivers State yesterday, and he questioned, who is Ijo? Everybody is Ijo. If your interest is not, what's Pandef? So there's been a lot of back and forth, really. I had several soundbites, but again, it's just very important that we have this conversation, and I'm going to leave the soundbites aside. But there was a judicial panel review by Mr. Curtis Nuruddin Joseph on that judgment. Again, there are people who say, oh, why do you have to question or review judges when they make their judgment? In one of the sound bites, which I don't have time to play, M소ɪᴟ was also questioning Judge Janagogo, where he has said it was his brother and himself that gave the ex parte order for Fubara to present budget to the 4 lawmakers. Himself indicting the judiciary. So if people are saying, oh, the same Wike that you think is infallible has told you that, look, oh, he thinks that the judge was also culpable because, according to him, his brother, who was the secretary, and the judge were the ones who were working together to give Fubara the edge, which the appeal court and the Supreme Court are now overturned. But an 11-man independent judicial accountability panel, whose membership included 3 retired justices of the Supreme Court, has on Friday, March 14, 2025, faulted the Supreme Court over its judgment on the protracted political crisis in Rivers State. Again,
I called it here supreme nonsense.
Yes, we're coming there because again, people don't understand when we talk about this. Say, oh, I think there was one caller say you keep misleading the people. You don't know about. We are talking about a panel that involves 3 retired justices of the Supreme Court, saying that, look, the protracted political crisis, faulted the Supreme Court judgment. And what have they said? They said the panel, headed by retired Justice Mojeed Owode of the Court of Appeal, said in a statement following its inaugural meeting in Abuja that it was worried that the apex court judgment on appeals emanating from legal disputes in Rivers State descended into live issues.
I told you.
Yes.
The judge descended into the arena.
Into the arena, as if it was a personal issue. Coming. He said, according to the panel, we said it carried out an exhaustive analysis of some recent cases of public interest. The judgment, according to them now, the judgment of the Supreme Court in the consolidated appeals leaves a gap as to whether the issue of the alleged defection of the 27 members of the Rivers House of Assembly is still alive or has been settled.
It's settled.
According to the Supreme Court, by that judgment, a case that is still in court.
Though it was not before them, but
they settled it.
They stretched forward their hands
and closed it. A case that was not before them. Now, he's saying that, look, this is because the court made comments on the issue of defection without actually addressing it.
Exactly.
According to the panel, highlighting that though the apex court had nothing before it on that issue of defection.
That's what I'm saying.
As at the time of the judgment, to establish that the 27 lawmakers were no longer bona fide members of the Rivers Assembly, the panel maintained that the apex court should not have commented on the issue at all since there were no pending litigations on the matter before them. However, it ruled out the possibility of any of the parties filing an application for judicial review of the judgment, saying as far as the case is concerned, the Supreme Court has become final. There's a finality to it now. He said, complex and lengthy judgments of court defy easy comprehension and therefore undermine public interest. The Justice Who panel noted, and even at judge judicial officers to be mindful of their oath of office at all times. Listen, that particular issue of the 27 lawmakers by Curtis.
You know, when we're becoming like broken record
on this issue,
and those who do not understand, we argue from place of emotion. First and foremost, the Supreme Court has a full panel. That panel is made up of 7 justices, and they are given the responsibility to resolve difficult constitutional issues. Now, that panel in itself is superior to a panel of 5. But their judgments carry equal weight. Now, but here's the problem. By procedure, a panel of 5 cannot set aside the decision of a panel of 7 because it's a constitutional panel. Now, the other point is that the case detailed with facts and evidence that came before the Supreme Court on defection is the Ifedayo Abegunde's case.
Of Ondo State.
From Ondo State.
Labour Party
member who defected, I think, to the APC or PDP sometimes ago. Can't remember because the parties have been changing. And then the Supreme Court said, no, once you leave a party that elected you and join another without evidence that the central party, not the state or local government, that there's a division
that has made the party non-functional completely.
The incapacitation of the party structure
to function.
You will automatically lose your seat. It's automatic lose. You lose automatically, forfeit
by just defecting. No, you don't.
By just defecting. Now, what the Supreme Court is trying to do is to confuse membership and defection. And I explained it. One process has to come before the other. You cannot be a member of another party before you defect.
Once you defect first, you have lost the seat.
First.
And become a member.
Wherever you are going, that's your problem.
You leave your party first and another party. You give the political party that which the Supreme Court lumped together.
In this case.
Are separate issues. You, first of all, you can't be a member of.
Then Barrister Curtis, why did the Supreme Court comment on the issue that was not before them?
No, that's why we are saying, because they needed to clear the political part.
For the wicked people.
Yes. This was a political judgment. Everybody knows it. Everything was hanging on this judgment in Rivers State. And to Matt,
the
framer wants it vacant.
Yeah, I'm defecting.
The point. Yes.
That's a DCNAE.
And they're probably members of interpretation. And over a matter, some of them were banned from entering the United. Part of are procured.
Of course, yes.
They're procured.
With evidence and facts.
Yes. And so many of them have been accused of corruption. And then, although they don't respond, and the defense has always been that justices don't respond to corruption charges. But so long as they keep churning out this kind of judgments, and you see, everywhere else in the world, except Nigeria, when judges give judgment, judges or justices give judgment, is to clear issues and solve problems.
Wow.
In our own is to complicate the matter.
Because the implications of this particular judgment is there. It's not, you see, when these things happen, we say it's not about now.
It's not about now.
You know the funny thing? Are you aware that the case of defection started before the case of these lawmakers that went?
And the way this one was rushed through.
That case is still pending at the Federal High Court.
But this one was rushed through
has gone
from appeal to Supreme.
Has been given.
Yeah.
Now.
Which lane?
It's on the first lane.
Okay, that one was on service lane. That was still on service lane. Hold up, don't catch up. And this one on the south lane has now even decided over a matter.
The matter has not come before it.
They've already decided on it.
And the language used by one of the justices, you know, it took on the governor as if he had personal.
That's why they said he went personal on it.
With the governor. Before. You know, it was. When I read through the judgment, I said, wow, this country, is there any hope?
Because if we, Joseph, when we lose it,
look, for me, I think let's even look at one issue. If it is possible, people like you or Curtis that are very close to Barrister Yᴏᴜᴛᴜ, there's need for that man to actually sit one-on-one with a cognitive psychologist. Because sometimes you maybe see someone, because you are a governor for 8 years, a minister, former chief of staff, you should be contented.
Oh.
You understand? And I said, you know what? Now, you may be instrumental for this man to come to office. You just say, okay, let me just allow him. If you look at that man, the way this matter is eating the way he's taking this matter. If tomorrow, maybe the president, correct President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, decide that, WG, please, can you let me bring another person as a minister for FCT? I don't know how that man will survive.
He won't do that. You know why I say he won't do that? When the Pandef leaders,
the elders,
went to him
to the president,
complained about his behavior. What the president said, he said he's your son and he's doing well. He needs your support.
Well,
now the other one is this.
Did you hear
that? Of course, yes, that was what he said. Yes.
If you look at
he doesn't say anything wrong with what he's doing.
The only challenge I'm having in Rivers State is what the security agency may cost this country. Because, for example, it's possible that at the end of the day, the security agencies are supposed to be professional and say, call any of them.
No, Joseph Fᴜʟᴜ. But Joseph Fᴜʟᴜ, don't you think that we are being unfair? Again, someone calls the shot. The police that you probably want to mention is under authority. And if they are under an authority that does not see anything wrong in the behavior of the minister of the FCT, for example, in some of the things that are happening, I'm not decided to rein them in. Do you think whatever instruction the police carries out should not be pinned on them? They should not be blamed?
No, we have to blame them. I think.
How do you blame them?
There's a man. Is it one of the FBI,
unless they will resign?
One of the FBI chiefs.
Yes.
Sometimes we say we copy something from America.
So you think he should resign?
One of the FBI boss. Immediately Donald Trump is coming. They said the man on his own. Nobody asked him anything.
He
decide to
go.
The director Christopher Ray.
Yeah.
You understand?
I don't want to work with him.
If we have people say they are professionals. Oh, we do our job professional and the rest of them. You can sit on one-on-one with the president and say, Mr. President, this thing may cause this country a problem that all of us will be in deep trouble.
Which president?
Let me tell
our president. Our president. Look, you see the body language of people in the higher authority. You don't even need to ask. If you see a child that is beating everybody at a party organized by his father, and the father is looking like this, you don't need to even dig more
and know whether he has the backing of the father or not.
He has the backing of, and that is the thing. Look, at times we embarrass police commissioner, AIG.
They are under authority.
They are under a particular authority, and if they are under a particular authority and they don't have any other work and they still want to be on that particular work, they have to go by the order. But the thing here is this: the repercussion of what will come out of the River State, which can affect, and we said it last week, it can affect the generality of Nigerians. And that is the thing. Then too, to impeach
a governor.
Some people also, the way they are talking, they have never read about the processes of people impeaching a governor. And that is the thing. You think it's just something you can finish in a week, something you can finish just like that? You think somebody is going to start the Senate Assembly that I get impeached? The way you impeach a speaker of the Senate Assembly is not the same way you impeach the governor. And that is the thing. Another thing again is this: we don't want a situation where innocent Nigerians in River State, because when politicians fight themselves, innocent Nigerians will surely die. And that's what I'm after. Then the natural resources that we are getting from River State, we don't want a situation where the crude oil will be affected, where pipelines will be vandalized.
That's not the problem. The FCT minister has told you no group can threaten a government that is in power. And he also said that Tompolo and Ijoma have a contract for the pipelines. So if he just want to blow up, there's nobody who has monopoly of blowing up pipelines. That nobody can threaten this country. He's in power.
But by Curtis, we are looking at our security operatives, how overstretched they are. It's not a
it's not straight. It's punishment. The way we punish them.
They are not overstretched. Look at the television.
Yes.
We are watching an award now.
Award, yes.
Being given by independent
newspaper. Yeah,
look at the number of people who are there. Go there now, you see over 4,000 policemen.
Guiding VIPs.
Our police people, our security agents are not overworked.
You think so?
They are not used equitably, and they are not used
effectively
well.
too.
I read a book called The Third Pillar by an Indian professor who talks about every progressive society having a viable community, market, and government. You see, what we find in Africa is that both the government and the market are secured while the communities are abandoned. You understand?
I'm with you.
So, let me give you a practical example like in Nigeria. The governors, the president, the senators, the House of Rep members, even members of the State House of Assembly, they are all protected by armed guards, right? You see a chief executive of a corporation, of banks, they all have security. But at the expense of what? The community, where majority of the people live. There are communities in this country that don't even have police stations.
Yes.
That individuals have to build a house and give to the police, lobby the police to send men there, and they still haven't sent men.
Just to get some form of protection.
So he said, you have a situation where these two groups are overfed with security, and then you have the community where majority of the people live.
Empty, without any security.
And that is why you find that elements from the community go to threaten both the government and the market. That's what you find all over Africa. The problem is that those who sit down to take this decision, the 27 robots in River State, because they don't take any decision.
No, they take it for them. It's obvious.
Someone is taking the decision for them.
Do this, do that. Go this way, go there.
Called more press conferences than the president of this country.
live show.
Than all the presidents that have ruled the country.
And in fact, like one of the journalists complained, and someone who participated before and said he stopped going.
It's almost 6 million per hour.
The guy said he pays them. They are paid.
They are paid to just come and listen, not to
he's
question.
Not going there because the man won't allow you to ask him questions and to talk. And even when you ask him a question that he doesn't like, he'll be angry with you. So he said, "What kind of thing is this?"
But the stations need the money, so we understand.
He's taking the whole thing on his head, so personal. Do you understand what I'm saying? And for those who think that an impeachment of a sitting governor is going to be a stroll in the park, if you thought it was so easy, by now the man won't be there.
Of course, yeah. If it was that easy, he would have been the first thing to do.
They would have impeached him for a very long time.
Don't just walk up yourself to the point that.
Why do you think suddenly the assembly is not just after the governor now, they're after the chief judge of the state?
Because they cannot go ahead with impeachment of the
Without
governor
the chief
without the chief judge. He has to set up the panel.
Yes.
And if the chief judge is not in the picture,
that's
the problem.
Yeah.
Then the second thing is that the second problem that they are going to have is that where are they even going to do? Because they are saying the Ijaw people, the Pandef, and all these groups.
They don't get sense.
Let them start it. Except they are going to move them from River State
to another
state to do the impeachment, and then come back and say they have done the impeachment.
No, they can be ruling from that.
And another thing again,
the
one that they are talking about, that this the House of Assembly wants to sit on the issue of chief judge. That
no, they are calling the DSS to investigate.
To investigate. One thing they don't know is this. I know that to some certain level, our NJC, they still have the high level of credibility. We know the number of governors that have tried much as possible to remove their chief judge, but no way.
The last one was in Benue.
Yes, that they tried all their best. They wrote a lot of petition.
NJC came out and said the man is still.
We don't find anything. If you don't find one thing of anything.
But Sir Curtis, how do we now help like the DSS? Why is it that some of these agencies we were thinking that they should be professional? DSS of all people will now say, okay, you are the one that screened these people, this person before as a chief judge, and you say no problem. Then they now send the file again. So yeah, go and screen. Then you may now screen again and say there's a problem. But that organization again.
I will answer you. First and foremost, we know that, like I said, this government and the agencies are ethically challenged. And you must understand that it's not that they cannot do the jobs. If they want to do the job, even the police authority, if they want to do
they know what to do.
And
they are professional enough to do a good job.
But there are forces holding them back. from doing some of these things. For instance, when somebody is nominated to be cabinet secretary in America, you know how all kind of groups will investigate that person and then generate petition and send to the Senate committee. Sometimes you've had hearings like 4 or 5 times before the person's nomination is brought to the Senate for voting. But what happens in this country is that you could submit names of ministers, the DSS, and they come back to you 24 hours and say, "We'll clear everybody."
But the one they want to stop, they know what to do.
The one they want to stop, they know what to do.
Like El-Rufai.
No, El-Rufai had said that he was not the DSS or anybody that stopped him.
And truly,
He was the president.
He said he was the president, and those around him.
Yes.
He accused Nuhu as one of them.
Can these guys work together? Do you think they could?
Working together is not the problem. If Wike decides
They have not been able to work together.
Listen, sir. If Wike decides today to work with Fubara, the 27 men and women will kill.
So can they work together? That's it.
They cannot work together because Wike sees this thing as a personal slight, and he will all that Wike wants today is to get Fubara out of the place and make the political statement that nobody crosses me and goes scot-free. And don't forget the video by
Fayose, yeah, don't go after him. You will go after you.
I know Wike.
Fubara,
I know Wike. Except if you are ready to fight him and defeat him.
He will not let you rest.
You know.
And this is how we're going to continue with
that. Is that not an indictment on a country we call sovereign state that, as Joseph is now say everybody, you
can
Joseph,
hold the state down.
I'll hold the state. I think we should bury our head in shame.
Listen, what are we talking about? Last Sunday, somebody called in and he said he doesn't want to talk to me and Nuruddin because he doesn't think we're even serious, that our projection here that Obasanjo will never return failed.
And so he's happy. And
I'm happy to have made a projection that failed, because in every sane society, what happened in Lagos
it's insane.
It's an insane thing. So do you expect us to project an insane situation?
I'm not insane, so I don't do insane projection. What happened in Lagos here could not. You found
in a functional democracy.
You found grandfathers weeping and speaking on the floor of the house.
Yeah, you think it was a normal thing?
You have a house of 35 members and 32 members are with someone else. Appointed that
40-35 years.
Yes. And then you say all of them should keep quiet.
And then return that man.
And somebody said, I made a projection that was 40 here. Other than Lagos State and the insane kind of democracy, so
that could not have happened anywhere in a society. Yes,
in the name of democracy, it couldn't have happened anywhere.
Yes. What
is the GSC?
I know.
Who is the unseen hand?
We now know that the GSC. You've always said it by Sarkozy.
You always say that
they're as powerful as the president wants them to be.
Let me tell you a story, and this story was told by Tunde Bakare to let people know how useless some of the committees and organizations we set up in the country are. He said his board of trustees were troubling him over certain decisions that he had made in the past. And so he told them, listen, I am about to go to the pulpit to preach. Let's talk about this after my preaching. And when he got to the pulpit, the first thing he said, the board of trustees hereby dissolve. That's it. The GNC is as powerful as the president.
We saw it.
All these graduates.
Before I open the phone line.
That is the playbook Wike is following.
But Mr. Curtis, the danger for me, I'm a Lagosian, and apart from the fact that, look, like you said, it was almost like an insane situation.
By an idea, not by reality. You are not a Lagosian. Nobody knows you in Lagos.
No problem. No problem. I agree. No.
By accident of biology and history.
The way we are, can we even boldly come out now to claim that we are anything? They are already rewriting our history.
Yes.
They are rewriting the history for us. So I won't blame by Sarkozy to have said that.
And you know why those boys and girls, I call them boys and girls, folded?
Yes. The assembly members in Lagos.
No, because they were told they will not get a ticket to come back.
And they had to listen. But Barrister, because it's very important for me to ask you this question so that we open the phone lines. Everything now seems to stop and end at the desk of the president. The Obasa matter went round and round and round. They opened door, they gave him police, didn't give him police. Oh, the GAC was aware, they were not aware. The president was aware, he's not aware. Obasa will come back, will not come back. At the end of the day, emissaries were sent. Baba Konde came from Osun. The man that should be sleeping, general, and enjoying himself. But at the end of the day, they still had to all take themselves to Abuja to meet with the president. And then the finality came. Obasanjo will continue as speaker, is not resigning. This is a question. And it's not just in Lagos, the political landscape. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not be president for life.
Yes.
At some point, he may have to retire politically. The day the president is not available to attend to these matters, what do you think would happen to the political space? To these our politicians amongst themselves.
Okay, so let me reply you by quoting what El-Rufai said. El-Rufai said one of the major reasons why he wants to fight this president and ensure that he's not re-elected is because he wants to introduce the Lagos culture into Nigerian politics. And El-Rufai said that the president is already preparing Nuhu Ribadu, National Security Advisor, to succeed him. And thereafter, he will continue to pick like he's done in Lagos over the years.
For how long is he going to continue to do that?
I don't know. I don't know how long God has given him.
No, again,
but
look.
the point I want to make here is that, look, democracy is not a one-man show.
It's a one-man show from what we are saying.
But the reason why it appears to be a one-man show, or it is a one-man show in this country, is that they have weaponized poverty. Weaponized poverty so badly that what makes you relevant and gives you a voice in Nigeria today is your closeness to power.
To powerful individuals.
Someone said to me that other than winning the lottery in America, billionaire,
Yes, it's
because
possible.
of someone he knows in government. And what we've seen here is that it's not about skill. It has stopped being about skills, about talent.
Your talent or intellect, no.
What is most important now is loyalty. Meanwhile, a president is not a king.
No be monarchy now. Are we changing to monarchy?
President is an elected
That got the mandate of the people.
The people. And the people can take it away.
But the politicians say,
Now,
look, on your mandate, they stuck to the mandate of the president.
In fact, like I say to people, this is the first time we are personalizing the office of the president.
Governance, practically.
Have you seen a situation where the president of the Senate, the deputy president of the Senate, the speaker, the deputy Senate speaker, and other top functionaries of the government are wearing caps with the insignia of the
president? An arm that is supposed to be independent of the executive.
I'm telling you. But if you talk, people say, oh, it's because your candidate didn't win.
And the fact that they sing that on your mandate, we shall stand
of course,
in the National Assembly. What does it say?
Assembly. A National Assembly. By the way, why are you worried about National Assembly? Is there differences among the political parties in the National Assembly today? They have all melted like ice block and become one. What is the different position, policy position?
Nothing.
Coming from Labour Party?
Do we actually have Labour Party now? Those are their finishing.
Apart from Mrs. Lɪධᴇ,
I know she has backtracked now on her earlier position.
The women had the biggest opportunity to speak.
And they failed woefully.
And they kept quiet. And now they're beginning to wake up because the people are sticking it to them.
Are you?
Yes.
You are coming back.
Because if you have seen the video, the compilation of the video.
Yes.
Then one of the things that got Natasha into problem with Akpabio was a bill that King had sponsored that failed the second reading. It has to do with, I think,
whatever.
Something.
Yeah.
And Natasha got up and said to the president of the Senate, I don't think the senators want to kill this bill. They want this bill revived. Do you understand? And the president just laughed and said, the distinguished Senator Natasha Akpabio, this Senate is not a nightclub. How do you even... There's no correlation between what she said, trying to preserve a bill that was going to die, and a nightclub. I looked at her dressing that day. She was covered.
Fully.
It's not as if she was...
And she has always been covered, at least from what we've seen, most times when she comes.
In fact, if the Senate president had said, the Senate is not a marketplace.
But the reference to a nightclub is suggestive of a lot of things.
And if the woman was wearing maybe an attire that suggested that
exposing her
body
body
will have said that there is a
relationship between okay.
But Forward,
yes,
when they say it's an uncommon governor, uncommon Senate president, the way ask them to decode the meaning of uncommon Senate president.
He's your friend Joseph. When you see him, never ask him.
All right, let's take the phone lines. Let's take the phone calls now. The line has been buzzing. 09136000410 09136000410. Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. We discussed the youth corps member, who just had to speak to our own reality and the backlash that has trade that particular video. We've also talked about Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's books and what he has said about corruption under Buhari and the fact that this government may just be breaking the record of corruption under the Buhari government. We also talked about Rivers State, the judicial panel that also had to review the Supreme Court judgment, a very controversial judgment that a lot of legal analysts have questioned the thinking pattern of the 5 justices that gave that particular judgment and the fate of Governor Fubara now that there seems to be the impeachment fever overing the political space in Rivers State. 09136000410. We are streaming the show live on Facebook and YouTube. You can drop your comments and contributions there. We will do well to pick your calls and also ensure we read out all the messages on Facebook and YouTube. Again, 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
And the birthday man, the birthday boy, greeting all of you in the studio.
Good evening, Prince Wise. Happy birthday to you.
I greet all of you.
We greet you too.
Yeah, number one, I love where Baba Obasanjo always change. But my grievance with him is that he can't see all of them. Before him, after him, you only condemn. If you face to see all of us, yes, I agree with him. Because if education does not end at the 4 wall of classroom, after the classroom there is a lot to be learned by all of us. So Baba can't tell us what you know about it. So that's for Obasanjo and for River. This governor, he must go behind the camera and prostrate and beg before coming out.
He will not prostrate.
That is, you can prostrate.
Prostrate for who?
Okay, very like I like that question. If you go to the elders,
which elders? I want you to tell us. You have to be specific. If you prostrate for who actually?
If you go behind the camera and beg those, because we today is the winner. Baba Asoro is the winner. He called them for a meeting. They say it's Sergeant speaking. Now, the speaker has spoken, whether wrong or bad. Everybody, when we say we are a lawyer, that's a matter you go say, I agree with the government. But we want to abide by the judgment. And that's what is happening in Rivers State. The governor must abide to the letter. If he lacks himself, if you don't lack himself, the next year I'm telling you,
so Prince Wise, before I allow you go, wait now. Wait, Prince Wise. We have said it on the show that the governor has to implement the Supreme Court judgment. That is sacrosanct. Nothing is changing. But I want to get you right. You are saying Governor Fubara should go and prostrate for Wike and the president behind camera. Is that what you are saying?
Okay, let us go. He will go to those things.
And prostrate for who and who? Okay, thank you, Prince Wise. All right. Hello, good evening. I've asked him a very simple question.
You can't answer it.
He's not answering. Hello, good evening.
And my panel of judges. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Ifi.
This is a Wike's best friend.
Prince Wise, don't answer my question. No. Let's just. All right. I'm about to answer my question.
Yes. To me, I feel Wike and his newfound friend, our president.
Yes.
They have the same character. It's the same character, covetousness. The only thing that is different is that the president does not misbehave the way Wike misbehaves. Or there is the same spirit. So he does not see anything wrong in what Wike is doing in Rivers State. And everything boils down. We want to get that state for my second coming. I want to use their money. because they believe River State governors are the one that sponsors parties for them during election. That's all. The two of them take up righteousness. They want to grab everything.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. I mean, you say you want to grab everything. Well, I think politicians just want to grab as much as they can. And I think it's not even limited to the president alone. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Okangolena.
Yes, I is Mafoluku.
Today we'll get light.
Oh, good one.
Congratulations.
If I say the Nepal man don't die.
I wait to happen now. Why die?
That's why there's light.
No.
Now press your claw too. Plenty.
It's okay. I greet your guests there.
We greet you too.
You see, what's happening in River State? And some people are saying WİKE should go and prostrate. I mean, the governor should go and prostrate. You don't expect any other thing from APC people to come and talk. But let me tell you, if I'm Fubara, I will not implement the decision of a biased system from the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
I will not.
That
would
be lawlessness. That would be lawlessness.
Lawlessness. The one you did at Supreme Court is not lawlessness. When the Supreme Court implements a lawless decision on the people of Nigeria, it's not lawlessness. The way they want this country to go, it will go like that. I tell.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
It's around, is that?
Yes. You're welcome, sir.
I want to say, by praising Obasanjo, we are making a big mistake. Because all what happened during his time, it seems we've forgotten. And if you continue praising after leaving office, we will not have a sincere government at the end of the day. Because they will believe when I leave, they will still praise me. Look at it now. We are praising Buhari now. That is, he has done better than Tinubu. And that's how it has continued. And it should not continue that way. Let us be pointing. So that's for that. Then concerning River State, I want to ask, maybe this dispensation or the other one, is it only River State that they are honorable decamp, that they move to another party? Because people have been decamping and have not been hearing this kind of noise. That has been happening in the National Assembly. And never have not fallen. If we truly love our people that we say we are governing, this thing we should not take it this way. Look at it now. There is no governance going on in River State. What is the benefit of the common man? The governor is fighting for himself, not fighting for anybody. All those people that they are saying they are enjoying, they are this. They are fighting for their pockets.
So
So the weekend is people are fighting for.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Nobody is fighting for the interest of the common man.
Exactly.
So until we stop this charade that we are doing, that we say we are governing, Nigeria will not move forward. So
Hello. Good.
Hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Well, good evening.
Yeah. Good evening, Pastor Ambrose.
Yes, my great barrister Joseph and then Nuruddin.
Greet you too.
You see
That give you
what?
Yes. Pastor, please go on.
You see, this man called them Fubara. He's not a politician. You know, they say garbage in, garbage out. If he were to be a politician, all this time that they have been in Supreme Court, he would have looked for a way to woo some of those 27 members. Maybe Akpabio say what money cannot do, more money will do.
Maybe he doesn't.
And he will have,
don't you think he does? Maybe he doesn't want to throw public funds around like that. Don't you think?
yeah. Fuad, I get you. At the end of the day, maybe you see the way they are doing it now. Because if he had divided that camp, that money that which he is spending, he will join him. Because you see, somebody is now telling you that they should not praise Obasanjo. That.
That one, good evening. Good evening, that one.
Now your call caught Pastor Ambrose call. Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Barrister, I greet you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, I greet everybody in the house. This is a Champions League political platform tonight.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, Oga Fuad, if the management of mainland FM they have issue with Lady Stage, and unknowingly to the management that Lady Stage will be hosting her last event of maybe of existence in mainland FM, he makes some remark that will implicate the management or that we expose the management. How will you feel? Will you just take it as freedom of speech? You understand me? So you will answer that question, you and Oga, you and Barrister. And as to River State, see, whatever is happening in River State is politics. And politics is a game. I remember in one of all those lectures given to us back then in public admin, during my public admin program, they describe one of the professors describe politics with the word struggle for power. You understand? Struggle for power.
Joshua, within the ambit of the law, struggle for power, respecting the rule of law, and seeking the mandate of the people legally, not to just.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that. So this has to do with struggle for power. People drag power. Power is not given to you. You go there and take it legally. Thank you. Answer my question.
Well, your analogy is strange to me. Okay.
Can we answer him?
Let's just take this call. Hey, good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to your guest.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for this your program.
Your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Yes, I like to appreciate it because
we lost that call.
So let me answer him.
Yes.
The only thing that holds us together as a people is the constitution of the country. Every other thing flows from it. You may have your internal rules, but if those internal rules infringes on the provision of the constitution,
it becomes useless.
It will be set aside. You have the power to discipline, but that power can be reversed
if it goes against the dictates of the constitution.
Just like we have the Supreme Court, and the decision of the Supreme Court is final. The constitution is what even established the Supreme Court that is final. And that is why in organizations you have an agency of government that regulates even your activities.
Of course, yes.
So what are we talking about?
Why do you think we have the industrial court?
Yes. This whole idea that people just believe that, okay,
you can do as you like because you have your rules.
Now, look at them. Do you know that the same Obasanjo who accused the present government and the one before it of corruption, and everybody is talking about that, the same Obasanjo said criminals, drug addicts, kidnappers are becoming traditional rulers.
Yeah, he said it, yes.
But nobody is talking about that because he has not touched
on the
small gods of Nigeria.
With the politicians.
Yes.
they don't care about it. We take this call and then I'll try and deal with all the messages we have on Facebook. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, yeah, before I continue, happy birthday,
Thank you. We have just 1 minute for you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. This is okay, calling you from Bulado.
All right, please go on, Mr. Okay.
Yes, our parents, God bless you all. All of you, God bless you.
Thank you.
You people have said, in fact, the truth. That is the truth we need this time.
Okay.
I beg our parents help us and tell the fellow judiciary what is happening now in rivers, in everywhere in Nigeria. I tell them that the blood that is shedding, God is not happy with them because they are the cause of all this thing that is happening. I beg. Tell them.
All right, thank you so much. I also listening to you. Although we have one confirmed report that trouble has broken out in Rivers State, we can't confirm the riot has turned out problematic. We are still trying to confirm that particular report. Yes.
In this studio, and people do not understand the power of the office of the president of any country. If the president wants that conflict to end today, that conflict will end. All it takes is Wike must be told that he cannot be a minister and be governor
at the same time.
Because he's the one pouring fire. I mean, fuel on this fire. Even the press conference that he gave 3 days ago
just added more trouble to the issue.
About River State. Is impeachment a crime? If we impeach him, nothing will happen. All those threats coming from Ijo, who is afraid? As the president of this country, as if he's even the president of the country. So I will continue to say this. The president has got all the aces. He's got the leverage. There are those who will say, oh, you know what? The president summoned these two people before, and the governor went home and... Listen, because the river people felt that the terms for that peace was unfair.
It was too one-sided, really. It's just a common sense issue.
And even that, the governor kept saying, I am prepared to do everything.
He was already implementing it, but they kept vetoing him.
He was going to the House of Assembly and they locked him out. They locked the gate.
We'll try and deal with some of the messages we have on Facebook before we run out of time. We have Babayomi Peter Tosin on Facebook saying, during my service here in 2008, my Alawi was 9,500 and my PPA was paying me 500 naira. With this, I was still having savings and buying food stuff and provisions. Yes,
can he do that today?
Money was very valuable, you know.
Today, if he enters the supermarket and buys a pack of Omo
he does, yeah.
and bread, that 9,000 is gone.
Well, Abdulrafi Alabalakwe is saying, I salute you guys this Sunday Ramadan afternoon. Ogbeni Alabalakwe from Sabo Ijewoniba. On the Obasanjo's corruption comment on Buhari and Tinubu's government, that was a fallacy, malicious and undermining and untenable. It's just also to shame and embarrass the two gentlemen. I mean Tinubu and Buhari. Look, the father and originator of corruption in the country is Obasanjo himself. So he also said, I believe Barrister Curtis Agba should be able to tell us more about OBJ's government in between years I mentioned. So Baba should go and sit down.
Baba is already sitting
down. Okay, we have Father Reosi Mora saluting all from General Lagbaja's cantonment. I think that name cantonment has been renamed.
Yes.
T.A. Lagbaja cantonment, former Ikeja military cantonment.
It will be hard to replace Ikeja cantonment.
Well, there are so many names, streets, for example, that names have changed, but people still call it the old name.
Yes, now.
If they take light and bring it today, do you hear it?
It is still NEPA.
It's still NEPA.
So we have Sheon J.
So rest in peace.
Yes, definitely. He was a gallant soldier who did very well in service to the nation. We have Sheon JC saying, good evening, wise men on Mainland FM. To the DG coordinators and every official of NYC, you cannot threaten, intimidate, or victimize any corps member for expressing their views on the performance of the president. They are citizens with rights. The president is in office to serve the people, and every Nigerian, a corps member, has a right to hold his or her leaders accountable. So we have Francis Ekpe. Sorry if people have sent in messages. I'm trying to just reduce it so that I can take more messages. We have Francis Ekpe saying Buhari indeed was corrupt and Tinubu promised to continue from where he stopped. Since Fubara won't be impeached, WİKE wants to box Fubara into a corner and become the political godfather. What will remove or stop Tinubu's second time is not necessarily a coalition, because APC government knows that coalition knows what coalition is. Therefore they are capable of infiltrating their ranks and fire, because party is not about ideas, but where bread is buttered. We have Bright Okon saying, good evening, good men of the house. I want to thank you for the bravery to speak the truth in this country. Stephen Ekong saying, watching live from Niger Republic, you guys are always making my evening tonic. Thank you, Stephen Ekong, all the way from Niger Republic. We have Daniel Orishimatosan saying, good evening, everyone. I'm enjoying your program. Thank you. We have Rosemary Etowa saying, good evening, my people. About price of things is getting out of hand. There's a day I made a comment on Facebook that rice from 8K to 100K. Someone attacked me by saying, must I eat rice? A crate of egg was 500 in 2014. Today it's still 6,500. When you talk, they will attack you now, and I just they look without saying anything. I don't want anybody to... All this idea of must you eat rice? Must you eat egg? Must you eat yam?
No, it will come to a point where we must not eat anything.
And then Basil Chika, he said, El-Rufai defection to me was too hasty, and that raised a doubt if his motive is genuine. He ought to have waited and sought things out on the ground with other willing parties to agree on coming together. But as it is now, he has a lot of work to do to convince other individuals to join him, and that's Chika Benden from Trade Fair.
Chika doesn't know the amount of work El-Rufai has done already.
Yeah, we have Mr. John Esson saying, good evening to all the people in the studio. Barrister Curtis, kudos to your analysis on the Supreme Court judgment last week. Your opinion has been collaborated with the independent junior panel 2 days ago about defection of the lawmakers, phone seizure, and impeachment. Thank you for your audacity to speak truth to power at the risk of your legal profession. And that's coming from Professor Mike from Illinois in the USA.
Let them take it and look for something else to do.
I thought that guy this sermon is saying the only one truth about Nigerians was best described by one British envoy that Nigeria is fantastically corrupt. From one regime to another, there has been heavy corruption allegations.
That's former Prime Minister of
the
United Kingdom.
Is it Gordon Brown,
Cameroon.
Right? Cameron, yes, Cameron, yes.
That said it's fantastically corrupt.
And we took him on seriously. And that we all truly see it did nothing. Example, around $60 million for power and all of that. So he's saying that, look, just government after government, corruption has always been there. We have James Nwachi Ogbonna saying, my distinguished gentlemen in the studio, I greet you professionally. I'm just hearing about NYC lady from you people by psychology. Do you know my problem? Supporters or sympathizers to this government will tell you that she's an opposition or that her outboard is political. Well, that's much the messages are just pouring in.
What is trending on the social media?
Yes,
is that you should not blame the governors.
I've seen that you always accuse the president. What about the governors?
I reminded one of them.
Yes.
Fortunately, I was able to pull up that post when I say that I prefer to be a governor in Nigeria than to be president.
Yes.
Because everybody blames the president and leave their governors. And the guy told me, no, we should blame we should not talk about the governor, that everything stops with the president. He's in charge of the army, he's in this and that. Today he has changed positions because his own man is in power.
Yeah, you blame the governors now. Well, Barrister, we need to go. The man with the black cap is already in the studio with us. Thank you so much, the panel, Barrister Joseph for the wonderful conversation we've had on Political Roundtable this evening. I decided the enigma. You are talking about joint accounts. Women should not have joint account with their husbands.
You know, randomly, we just say it was just a picture that I had gotten. And I remember that from the beginning of this show, we had spoken about joint account and it was something we discussed. And I felt it wasn't really an issue.
So is there a problem with joint accounts?
There's a science to joint account that has caused a lot of trouble that people...
In marriages?
What about the physics of it?
Yeah, the physics of it is...
Okay, that's the voice of Adisa, the enigma. He has something about joint accounts, the pros and cons, and how it can affect your marriage. I think it's going to be a brilliant, wonderful conversation this evening. I have no opinion. I have no opinion on that, but it's a good conversation to have. Really.
Before you go there, there was somebody who sent an account. It was to send money to his customer.
Yes.
He showed me. I saw it online. Then the guy said, "He's a tailor." Yeah. So he said, the man was supposed to send me 20,000. And that said, Adiola and Tunji.
Yes.
And I said, oh, 20,000 and you might be account, he said. So it was a funny one that it was somehow emasculating for the man when he saw the reaction of people to